So much for Tusky and the 7-game winning streak. The Oilers put a halt to that with a 6-3 victory over the Utah Mammoth in a very entertaining game for Oil Country. And the Oilers looking good in those new alternate jerseys. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the GCL Diesel Oil Stream post-game show right here on Edmonton Sports Talk. Tom Gazzola with you alongside Ben Thomson. Reed Wilkins will be stopping by, and Shawn Belle. Shawn Belle will be with us. I thought he was going to have an alumni night and we wouldn't see him, but he just messaged us and he says, I'm in. So we'll be seeing Bellsy shortly. You can text us 780-218-9999. You can get to the nasty chat as well. We want to hear from you. Hit that thumbs up button as the Oilers get their 5th victory of the season, improve to 5-4-2, give them 12 points on the year, and they played outside the first period, a pretty darn good game. That second period, 5 goals. They looked like the old Oilers, as Benny was telling me right before we started the show, and maybe some reassurances for some people, not all, but some people for sure, I would think, being like, oh yeah, they're there. That's what they are known for, and they're back maybe a little bit of that mentality, but we'll see if they can sustain it when they take on the New York Rangers on Thursday. Okay, of course, GCL Diesel, providers of the best diesel engine components around, from turbochargers to ejectors, fuel pumps to sensors. They are the critical engine component experts, proud to serve Edmonton and Northern Alberta for over 50 years. Benny Thomson back at EST Global HQ. What'd you think tonight, Benny?
Much better. Much better today.
Yes.
I didn't even think their first period was like that bad. Couple screw-ups, of course, and that Utah capitalized on, which you got to expect in a game like this where Utah is red hot going into tonight. But just like I don't know how you can complain about tonight's game. It like I was saying to you off the air, this whole start to the year has felt different because I didn't see even just glimpses of like this this Oilers team that we've seen the past couple of years. Tonight was exactly like how I remember watching this team the past couple of years. Like just high octane offense, keeping pucks in the zone, a relentless forecheck, typical screw ups that you're like, oh, that's the Edmonton Oilers, like typical goal against. But you get the good with the bad, and there was more good tonight, which was awesome. So yeah, a very encouraging win for the Oilers tonight. If you want to say they're back, I wouldn't disagree. They looked very Oilers-like tonight, which was good. So I'm very, very thrilled, very happy with the Oilers' performance tonight.
I don't know if I'd go all the way to say that they're back, but that was encouraging. And, despite the weekend results, the fact that they opened up for 6 again for the second time in less than a week, that to me is also encouraging. And they did it against a Utah team that had been playing really good hockey. You could see it from the Utah Mammoth, and they were buzzing in the first period. Their young guys were flying, playing with confidence, taking advantage of a couple of Darnell Nurse gaffes, and going up high on Stu Skinner. Like that Cooley goal, I don't know, like Nurse couldn't get the puck out, and then Gunther finds Cooley, he buries it. Then the Paterka goal, Darnell Nurse, complete control of the puck, Benny, and he dumps it in off the linesman's crotch when he had like 60 feet to shoot it in.
I have to put it there. Like
he soft-chipped it off of the linesman's sensitive male area, and Paterka goes back the other way and goes upstairs on Skinner. And then the comeback in the second period, was pretty impressive. And McDavid with a couple of goals tonight. Nugent Hopkins continues to play well. Draisaitl had some good moments. Good to see Ty Emberson score his first goal. And I thought Adam Henrique actually looked okay. I was encouraged by Ike Howard, and Matt Savoy didn't put up anything, but he was buzzing again. So that second period was really encouraging. The one goal in the second that Barrett Hayton scored, I mean, that puck, it was a shoot in, and Skinner couldn't trap it. It kind of hopped over his stick, and Schmaltz finds Hayton, and they take advantage. So overall, I think it's a satisfying win, and I think people can go to bed tonight being like, you know what, that was good. There they are. They still have that ability and capability to get the job done. And they shut the door on a pretty damn good Utah team that had won 3 straight on the road, 7 straight overall. And now the Oilers find themselves on a 3-game home winning streak.
Yeah, it's like you were saying. That was encouraging. It was the Vancouver game at Rogers Place was a good game for the Oilers. The Oilers were dominant, but they still didn't look like the old Oilers necessarily because they didn't finish on their chances. Like they were just playing Demko, and Demko was standing on his head. And I feel like there was still some stuff where like they weren't as snappy. Tonight it was like it felt like I was watching the same Oilers team like last year. And obviously this team has been right there for winning a Stanley Cup. They're not that far off. And, whether you like or dislike the change they made over the offseason, they still have majority of that core. So it was one of those, it was a very encouraging win for me today just to look at the overall picture and go, okay, that team is still there. They still have those guys. When they're on top of their game, they still can put out those performances we saw tonight. So, once again, very encouraging, I think is the word tonight.
Yeah, nice to see. Good win for the Oilers. 6-3 is your final. Text us, 780-218-9999. Let's dip into the inbox. Let's go to Vinny Vegas. Says, hey, Tommy, a.k.a. Carrie Fraser with that hair that never moves. The key, Vinny Vegas, is Swedish hair cream, which Chantel got some for me. I'm back to using it, so thank you, Chantel. I'll see her on Friday for a little haircut. But anyway, Vinny Vegas says, I find Frederick invisible. Is he still nursing that ankle from last year? He looks lost out there, but hopefully he can turn it up. And Vinny Vegas, let's take a look at his stat line from tonight. I know Frederick, there's been a lot to be desired from him. Hasn't really pleased a lot of Oiler fans since he's come over to the team. 1247, no points, even. No shots, 2 hits. I know he was kind of caught out of position on a couple of Mammoth chances, which those are details that I'm sure the coaching staff will be pointing out, and I'm sure he's aware of those types of plays, let's call it. I'm not going to say mistakes, but he wants to be in a better spot on a couple situations that Rashog and I were talking about a little bit up in the press box. Yeah, he did say that he didn't feel at 100%, but Vinny Vegas, that was like 5-6 weeks ago.
Yeah.
That was in like the first week of training camp, and I know they're on the ice quite a bit. They've been playing a lot of hockey, and he's not really known as a burner. He moves okay for a bigger guy, but it's just really hasn't found a rhythm or a groove so far this season. And certainly when he was injured last year, that was tough to do when he came over from the Boston Bruins in that trade, dealing with a high ankle sprain. So that's the information I have for you. Is the last he told us he was still dealing with it, and he doesn't look super fast, nor has he ever really. But outside of that goal against the Rangers a few weeks ago, a lot to be desired, and you want more from Trent Frederick for sure. Let's go to this text. Says, these third jerseys should be featured on cigarette packages to warn against the dangers of smoking. They get the win against the Utah Mammoth wearing the new alternate jerseys. What'd you think? Because I thought they looked pretty good.
Dude, I've been a fan of them since they've come out, but obviously it's different when you see them on the ice and they're from head to toe, they're in the full uniform, right? I think they look nice. Like I genuinely like the cream look. I think it's blue helmets they're still wearing. I like the blue where I think it pops a little bit. So, I like the jerseys. I don't like those track suits they got.
Those are bad.
Those are pretty rough. But the jerseys themselves, I mean, I think whether you like or dislike the logo, I don't know. I don't know how you can not like the design. The logo, I understand. Maybe if it was the regular circle Oilers logo, I think that looked pretty cool as well. But overall, I'm a fan of the jerseys.
They look good. Doof texting in about the jerseys. Doof is a big jersey guy.
Yep.
Says the only disappointing part of that game was seeing that the captain letters on the new jersey were placed lower than how they were sold at the stores. I didn't notice that, but Doof is a huge jersey geek. I know Doof, so I can call him that. He's friends with my youngest brother. And I helped get Doof and my brother's buddies a bunch of those alternate jerseys which they really like. And they kind of had them like where the blue shoulder thing was, the letters for the alternates and the captains. And I didn't notice that detail, but I'm looking for it here. I do see it. They kind of lowered it. So
Okay.
I don't know. That's kind of a piss off. I'd be pissed off if I spent a couple $100 on a jersey and it wasn't the same as how the players wear it. That's just it's a detail that some people wouldn't catch. It's something that Doof caught, obviously, and something I would be like, that would piss me off quite a bit too. All right, keep those texts coming in. 780-218-9999. What did you think of Stuart Skinner tonight, Benny?
Not like, I think the numbers are a little bit deceiving with him. You know, an 870 save percentage to me isn't an accurate representation of how he played today. Yeah, you know, you can pick, I mean, obviously the third goal, like, probably need to stop that puck behind the net there, or at least just don't come out of your net. But, you know, and then to me, like, I was having this discussion with my buddy, like, on the Cooley goal, the first one, like, he's saying you want to save there. That's a elite shot, like the perfect, like picks the corner, like post in, like couldn't design it any better. So I don't know, maybe you want Stu to be a little more aggressive and not even allow it to get to the post, but sure. But he made some big saves today. Like there were some chances for Utah in the second, even the third there. Like, you know, as much as I think a lot of Oilers fans were probably comfortable in that third period, it was especially with how the second went. It takes one goal for Utah in the third period to go, oh, this is a 1-goal game now, and all of a sudden, like, this is like high alert. Okay, like you can't just sit back and relax anymore. And Stu made some big saves in that third period. So I'm willing to give him a passing grade tonight. I didn't think this was his best game tonight, but I also didn't think like it was a horrible game for Stu. It was average for him. I don't think he should be taking any criticism today, but you know how Edmonton is, and
yeah. I'll read some texts that have come in. So highly encourage everybody to text 780-218-9999. Get to the chat if you're watching on YouTube. Quaddy says Stu looked confident in the third. Brian says he didn't look or play good. This one from Charles says Skinner plays great against the Rangers. Stu is 2-0 lifetime now against Utah. Let's see. Hockey Hooligan says Stu was too slow getting to the net on the third goal. Yeah, that one. Yeah, I looked at that. I think I let out a kind of like a when that went in. And so anyway, and then we got a bunch of jersey texts that have come in. Says Oilers can keep rocking them beauty jerseys. Those jerseys, the T-Man says, look like the opponents peed on them. God awful, in my opinion. That's good. Anyway, keep those coming in. Sue says totally looks like an outdoor jersey, and then puts the nice kind of it does have that kind of heritage classic feel to it tonight. Let's go into the inbox 780-218-9999. Calgary Glenn says a mammoth turd in the first and a mammoth comeback in the second. The 5 goals that they put up in that second period, like the way they scored them, 2 like confident goals. A little bit fortuitous, like the Emerson goal. Like I think there was a shot off. There was the Draisaitl goal was a Wallman shot off the pad, like a pass, and then Draisaitl buries it. But you had the Emerson goal, which was a shot that hit Henrique. And it goes and then Emerson gets there and tucks it past Vamelka. So that was a good one. Then the one that I thought was a thing of beauty was Nugent Hopkins and McDavid with the give and go in tight, McDavid burying his second of the season. So that looked like they had their confidence going in the second period, and they kind of took over the game and kind of showed the Mammoths like, oh no, the team went to the Stanley Cup final the last couple of years. Ike Howard taking advantage of a fortuitous bounce. I think Adam Henrique did a good job of getting in on the forecheck down low on the Howard play, and Howard buried it the way he's, able to. We know him as a goal scorer in NCAA hockey, and he managed to take advantage. And then we had an Ekholm clapper, high blocker on Vamelka, so that was left side, kind of the classic blast from Ekholm. But one of the things we talked about going into the game today on the pregame show was depth scoring, and I think Bells, you want to talk about it. You want to talk about it. You're talking about an Ekholm goal to get things going, a Howard goal, and then Emerson chips in, and then of course McDavid and Draisaitl had the other goals, but 3 out of the 6 were from guys that you don't normally get a ton of offense from, right? One guy's a rookie, a couple of one veteran defenseman, and then a younger defenseman chip in with some goals. So that's encouraging to see as well, Ben.
Yeah, I thought like pretty much all lines were going tonight. In Vancouver, the Draisaitl line was the best line, I think, for the Oilers, and it wasn't even close. Like it just felt like they were the ones stirring up the pot for the Oilers, and then just whatever line came out next couldn't follow that up. Tonight I noticed right away, I think it was the first shift, like Draisaitl line goes and they cause havoc in the Utah zone, and it seemed like the Oilers were following up a little bit better today, and then obviously in that second was when they were able to continue that throughout the whole second period. Adam Henrique had a big game, and he's been playing well the past couple games. Like I'm
encouraged by that.
Like which I'm very happy about. Like an older guy who's probably caught a little bit of criticism from Edmonton fans, right? He's old and slow and doesn't really have it anymore, but he's looked very good. Especially in these past, 5-6 games. He's looked solid. I like, obviously Howard had a solid game. Once again, I understand I'm bringing up his name a lot, but Matt Savoy played 16 minutes today. That's like almost double what he played against Vancouver on Sunday. And I appreciate that time played. He was good on the forecheck today. Podkolzin had another good game. Like, it just seems like, and I guess I should mention Roslovic. I don't know how he doesn't.
Good.
Like, I don't know how the hell he doesn't have a goal tonight. Like, he hit the crossbar twice, had a breakaway. Yes. Like, he was all over it tonight. For a guy who we've talked about on Hello Hockey, there's a possibility of him being moved, with Hyman coming back and everything. It's encouraging to see him get going. He obviously missed training camp, so it seems like he's got his boots under him and he's finally going, which is good. So, I'm excited to see Roslovic continue to play with this Oilers team, and he's looked good. So, there was a lot of depth guys that showed up today, and a lot of encouraging kind of just moves for the Oilers today. So, it's exciting if you're an Oilers fan. But let's see if they follow this up. We talked about this earlier, where this is a red hot Utah team. The Oilers probably got up for this game. Like, all right, okay, this is a red hot team. We'll show them what a real good, contender team looks like. They play the Rangers, who have been pretty bad this year.
Good point.
And do they play down to their opponent, or do they continue what they got going on right now from tonight? Let's see what happens.
The Rangers, by the way, who come to town on Thursday, 3-5-2 right now. And I also have encouraging news. Shawn Belle just arrived at the EST Satellite Studios. Yeah.
Wow. Look at him go.
Belle's here. He popped his head into the office and he's like, I'm here. And then he used a term that I cannot repeat on the air because it's rude. So he'll be hopping on the postgame show right away. Belzy down in the alumni room and enjoying the Oilers defeat the Mammoth 6-3. Let's get to a few more texts. I want to get to Dirty Curdy here. Dirty Curdy texting in said, after what was looking like a complete stinker, a fantastic second and third, Connor, I think he found his mojo. When we add players, we need to up the grit-tensity. He made grit and intensity one word, grit-tensity, and find guys who are pain in the ass with some nastiness. Kudos to Nugent Hopkins, who has been excellent and the most consistent performer. Can't wait for Hyman. Let's go. That's from Dirty Curdy. Good to hear from you, Dirty Curdy. Thank you for your breakdown. Always appreciate that. This text coming in says, who was that team we watched from the second period on? I didn't recognize them. First to pucks, hard on the forecheck and back check, finishing their chances, except Roslovic, who came close a few times. This was the team we know the Oilers can be. Between this win and the Jays, I sleep well tonight. Good text there, so thank you very, very much. This text saying, hey, I missed the reason for them going 11-7 today. Was Phil banged up? Why wouldn't he play if Lazar couldn't? That's from Library Pat. I didn't get the reasoning. Today was absolutely nuts. But at first, we were talking about a bit inside the studios with Reed, and we're like, are they going 11-7? Are we sure? I know there was some reports out there. Why would they? And indeed, they did. I don't know if I don't love it, and I don't think Stetcher has had a very strong season. I don't want to
Yeah,
I don't want to dump on him. It's tough when you're not in the lineup every night. And then they kind of wedged him in there. Did you notice, Benny, they went back to the regular pairs on defense, second period?
Yep.
Maybe not even. So Ekholm with Bouchard, Nurse was back with Wallman, and then Kulak with Emerson. And then they kind of try to rotate Stetcher in there. So, we knew it wasn't going to last very long, right?
Yeah, no, exactly. With those pairings, man, like there's no way Nurse and Bouchard were gonna last the whole year. Like there just simply was no way. But to say that, like, you know, I was very surprised that like the Bouchard and Ekholm pairing wasn't clicking at the start of the year. I mean, the whole team wasn't, but like it was just like that was a glaring issue. It was like that pair. But it was good to see that they turn it around tonight. I think it was as soon as they put them together, Ekholm scores the first goal for the Oilers. It was a breakup pass from Bouch, hits dry in stride, finds Ekholm for his classic bomb far side. It was encouraging to, once again, like I feel like I'm sorry I'm using that word so much, but that's what describes the tonight perfectly. It was encouraging to see that pairing get going again and looked like they were buzzing. So yeah, I'm just I'm happy to see them going again. I think this team's best when those two are paired together and you got Nurse and Wallman, or if you want to put Kulak in the top four and bring Nurse back minutes down or whatever you want to do. I think it's best when Ekholm and Bouchard are going and playing together.
All right, let's get to the Advantage Sport Medicine and Physiotherapy turning point of the game right before we bring in our game analyst, Shawn Belle, as the Oilers defeat the Utah Mammoth 6-3 and ending the Mammoth 7-game winning streak. Take that, Tusky, the new Mammoth mascot who kicked off this streak, evidently. The turning point of the game, of course, brought to you by Advanced Sport Medicine and Physiotherapy. Connor McDavid's got a team of specialists. You have a bag of frozen peas. Get the same locker room approach that's trusted by the best in the game at Advantage Sport Medicine. Book your assessment today, www.advantagesportmed.ca, or call 780-460-9977. And we're going to go to a sequence that turned things around for the Oilers. Like, listen, they went back and forth with the Mammoth. They nullified the 2-0 deficit, and then the Mammoth scored, and then the turning point will be Draisaitl burying his 8th of the season at 13:33. Then 37 seconds later, it is Ty Emerson scoring his first from Adam Henrique and Matthias Ekholm, and that really was when the Oilers kind of took over, because McDavid would score after that on a nice play with Nugent Hopkins, and then the empty netter in the third period would seal the deal. But I really thought those two goals in a short burst there is what kind of put the Oilers over the top and gave them the mojo to keep going, to use that term, and to kind of, show the Mammoth, a young upstart team that have been playing really well, that the Oilers weren't going to have any of it tonight. So that is your Advantage Sport Medicine and Physiotherapy turning point of the game. The two goals, 37 seconds apart, between Leon Draisaitl and Ty Emerson. All right, text us, 780-218-9999. Get into the nasty chat as well. Let's welcome in Shawn Belle, our game analyst. Hi, Bellsy. How are you?
Hi, boys. How's it going?
Good. I'm going to close the door so that we don't get this echo, because you're in my kitchen.
This is fair. This is very fair.
Bellsy, how was the alumni seats today?
They were great. I was sitting with Scott Glennie, who's former first rounder to the Dallas Stars, and Chris Dingman.
Nice.
And so it was it was good. It was a fun time, and we got to watch a game where the Oilers decided.
Bellsy, did his phone die or something?
Did we lose Bellsy? I don't know.
We lost Bellsy. I don't know what happened. Oh, yeah, he's back.
He's back. Okay.
Let me.
Yeah, we'll get him queued back up here. Sorry, Bellsy, you cut out.
He's back.
That's okay. I was just getting into it. No, what I was saying was that it was nice to watch the Oilers decide to say we've had enough and start to play. And like you guys mentioned, they were first to pucks. They were physical. They were making plays. It was a completely different team once the second period started. So I loved it. I think I actually stood on my feet at one point and clapped, which I rarely do. But it was it was good to see, because at the end of the day, you had a team in Utah that was flying in all cylinders, and after that first period where they were a little bit sleepy, still lethargic, got a text from a buddy of ours that said, yeah, they still are sleepy. And then all of a sudden, the second period, they decided to wake up and they took it to the Mammoth, and it was a good game.
All right, Belsey, how many beers did you crush tonight? Or were you
0 beers tonight?
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Wow.
A lot of long drink though.
Oh, there it is.
Yeah, there we talk.
That alumni room. Did you have our favorite waitress?
Jordan.
Yes.
She was fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah,
she's awesome.
She was awesome. Yeah.
You can catch her at Hudson's White Avenue as well, one of our partners, and we've been on location there for the last couple of years. So anyway, Shawn Belle with us now as we break down the 6-3 Oilers victory over the Utah Mammoth. Hey, Belsey, those deep pairings that we were talking about pregame really didn't last very long. They went back to the usual Ekholm with Bouchard, Wallman with Nurse, and then we saw Kulak with Emerson. Were you surprised at all?
I wasn't surprised at all because it was after the second goal when I think fans were starting to lose their minds because Nurse tried to go for a rush. And, I feel kind of bad for the guy because he tried to make the right play.
But
and
he
unfortunately,
hit the ref.
He put it off the linesman, and then it goes back the opposite way, and you could just see it was such a fitting goal because when you watched it where I was sitting, you saw him make the right play. And you're like, okay, this is a good play that you're about to make. You're going to chip this thing off the board. You're going to go get it yourself. But then you put it off the linesman. And
do it right.
Yeah, it just was one of those things. And, the Bouchard-Nurse pairing wasn't working very well, and they went back to the well, and it turned out awesome, and everybody started chipping in and doing things the right way, and they played the right way, and guess what? They ended up winning the game, and they decided to play. So it was great to see.
All right, Benny, you want to chip in with anything else there?
Yeah, I appreciate your insight on the Nurse play, Belsey. What did you think of the depth in your game changers? You pointed out that the depth needed to get going. And 3 of the 6 goals today were two of them were defensemen, Ekholm and Emerson.
Yep.
And then Ike Howard, the rookie. I thought Henrique had a good game. What did you think of the depth?
I thought it was a lot better. I think guys stepped up and they played hard and they were on the puck. Second period on, they forechecked hard. They created a lot of turnovers. There was actually some hitting, which was surprising to see. There was a few things, though, I didn't like. There's some responses that I wish we would have seen. McDavid gets hit early in front of the net. He was down for a little bit. Majapani gets buried from behind. There's some responses that you wanted to see, but the best response that you saw was the way that the Oilers decided to play in the second period, and they did things the right way. They were detailed. They didn't take shortcuts. And for an Oiler team that, over the last whatever amount of time, it was a lot better because they played the right way and they ended up winning the game because they stayed on the puck. They were hungry. They hit. They outcompeted Utah Mammoth, and that's what you want to see. And that was a frustration for a lot of fans, a lot of media, because they just weren't doing that stuff.
All right, let's go to the inbox. Dudley texting. It says, Benny's opinions are larger than his Ito Japan order with extra meat and no veg. I'm not even surprised by that. I've seen some of the plates you prepare at the studios, just potatoes, just chicken.
Yeah,
very strange.
I'm basic. I don't play with my food. Hope you
unlike the Oilers.
Yeah, exactly. No, I don't know. Double meat, try to get the protein going and the rice. I'd rather have my vegetables separate. I don't like the vegetables getting mixed in with everything.
That's really weird.
Miss me with that. Give me chicken, beef, and rice. And I'm good. I'm straight.
Vegetables are very healthy for you. You should be eating your vegetables and your fruits.
I'll have them on the side. I'll have my little bag of carrots on the side.
All right,
this is the mush brain generation right there.
It really is. It really is.
It's just me. It was just
Dudley also chiming in. Said the Oilers stood strong in that game like Swedish hair cream. Yes, thank you. It does stand strong. So let's dive into the inbox and the nasty chat. Tommy, you're calling. This one says it's from Carmen. It says, Tommy, you're calling out Nurse, which I agree with, but you can't say anything about Skinner's poor play. Come on, man. Carmen, I don't know why you're coming at me. I said it hopped over his stick and he was slow getting back to the net on that third goal. And then he gets beat high. Well, I mean, the Cooley one was a nice goal. Great shot by Paterka, but like that's 40 feet out. You need to save that. I don't know. He made some good saves after. He had a really nice sequence where who did he stop? He stopped Cooley, and then he was getting up and the puck came. He kind of got his glove on it, and then there was a one-timer save on Gunther. So I don't know, Carmen. Like, I don't know, like, what else you want me to say. I said that the puck hopped over and he was slow getting to his net on the third one. I even admit it. I kind of laughed. I did the when that one went in. So sorry, dude. I feel like I was pretty fair to Stu Skinner. I don't know, man. Like some people, it's just like can't satisfy them. So
yeah, I mean, Stu Skinner. Yes, he gave up that last one. It was kind of baffling, but outside of that, like the other two goals, yeah, the other two goals were turnovers, and that usually comes back the other way and it goes in the back of their net. Like it happens on every single team across the NHL and even actually the hockey landscape. So you can't really fault him for those two goals. Yes, the Paterka goal was 40 feet out, but that was an absolute missile of a shot. So you got to tip your hat to Paterka, and sometimes that just happens. Like I don't know what you want to say. The rest of the game, he made saves. He battled. He competed on pucks. If there was loose pucks, he was there. You know, like I think we criticize Skinner a lot, and I think that sometimes goaltenders find a way to get the victory, and he found a way to get the victory. Like that's just the way it is. So I don't think we need to pile on Skinner just because he let in the one bad goal. Like it's too much to me.
Okay, Belzy, we've had some texts come in regard to Trent Frederick. T-Man says, I'm worried that Frederick has concussion syndrome. I don't want to pile on him, but... And then Charles says, Trent for his size should be more physical. And we've seen a few people, and someone was asking earlier about Frederick and like if he was at 100%. The last update I got was when he said it in his training camp availability that he didn't have that final... It didn't feel 100%. So I don't know. Like, what are you seeing out of Trent Frederick?
I see a guy that's trying to figure it out. I see a guy that is still kind of reeling from his injury that he had last year. I've had a high ankle sprain. It sucks. It takes a long time to kind of get over it. I think he's going to be fine. And yes, his sample size as of right now in the regular season hasn't been great. But he's taking baby steps. You see a guy that was trying to be a little bit more physical today. He was trying to use his size along the wall. He was, trying to get into that cycle game. So there was things that he did that were better. There was things that he did that, tried to impact the game. But it's still not the same level as Trent Frederick that we saw in Boston, where it had Oiler fans clamoring to say, like, let's get this player. But it's gonna show up in his game soon, hopefully. But it is gonna show up in his game.
Yeah. Brian texting in says, do they continue this early lack of energy and urgency due to the long season? They play slow to start, as per Draisaitl's comments toward Utah. Yeah, they do. It's frustrating, but sadly, as we said earlier in the day on the pregame show, this is their best start in 3 seasons.
Yep.
By 1 point, granted, through 10 games, they were at a point ahead of last year's pace. Definitely not as bad as 2 years ago, but I'm saying it a bit in jest, but a little bit of strides in the right direction. And then tonight's win, I think, will be encouraging for Oilers fans. Just the second time, too, guys, that they put up more than 3 goals in a game, and they've done it twice in a week. So, Belzy, would you read into that?
I wouldn't read into it too much. This has been a team that's a notoriously slow starting team. We sit there and we get frustrated and we want more, but they're 5-4-1. Like it's a good start for the Oilers. It's a good start. For most teams, it's probably not, but they're a team that knows they can battle back in any situation. They have the 2 best players in the world, so they just don't feel like they're out of any game. And while that's frustrating for us, I mean, when you sit back in the room and you can say, hey, like we'll spot a team 2-3 goals and we're going to battle back. Like there's a confidence and there's a swagger to that. As frustrating as it is for us, that's what's in the room, and that's how they operate day to day. Would we like to see them go out and dominate cover to cover? 1,000%, because I think we could all sleep easy. But the reality of the situation is this team does not do that. And sometimes they need to have their back pushed up against a wall, and then they come out swinging.
An opportunity on Thursday for another win on home ice, 3-0-1 at home. They've been pretty good at Rogers Place. They'll take on a Rangers team that is 3-5-2. The Rangers tonight, all 16 teams in action. Let's see what they did tonight. I'm looking for it here. They beat Vancouver. So they won 2-0. That one would have just ended, and they outshot the Canucks 25-23. Zibanejad and Carrick, former Oilers, Sam Carrick, put it on ice with the empty netter. So they're going to be riding high after a slow start. What do you think about this Rangers team coming up here, guys? Benny, we'll start with you.
Yeah, they were, to me, heading into this season, they were the biggest wildcard team. Like I could see them, like I saw them honestly from like possibly winning their division to like being a lottery team. Like to me, they were the biggest. Like I have no clue what to predict for this team. Just mainly just because like they have Igor Shesterkin in net. When Panarin's going, he's one of the best players in the league. Adam Fox in the back end is a great offensive defenseman. Zibanejad, when he's going, he's good. JT Miller, like they have guys, but they just seem like they just don't have that mojo anymore. They don't have that team that's like a winning team. Like they don't have that culture that is there, and they don't gel as well. I mean, we saw it when they played the Oilers in MSG. Like they seem like they just struggled to capitalize on their chances. So, I mean, going to this game, you never really know. It's the NHL. All teams are good. And anyone can win any night. Yeah, I guess. Tell that to Calgary and San Jose. But they, I don't know. Like to me, they're just they have high end guys, but they half show up, half don't, and it's just like and they don't have the depth to carry it throughout. So, like I said earlier, for the Oilers, either you're playing a worse team than the Rangers, who haven't been good this year, and they weren't good last year. You showed up against a red-hot Utah Mammoth team. Good for you. You got up for the game. That's great. Now show up against a team that's not very good right now. Like that's like that tends to be a problem with the Oilers as they play down to their opponent. I hope that's different on Thursday, but it's been a trend. So let's see if they change that on Thursday.
Belsey, you want to add to that?
Yeah, no, it's a Rangers team that's changed their identity. They tried to get a little bit more physical since they played the Florida Panthers 2 years ago. What was the conference finals at that time where they kind of got ran out of the rink. So, they've tried to change their identity. They tried to have a better blend of skill and physicality. And unfortunately right now, like they made a ton of changes in the offseason, some of which were needed, but they still made a ton of changes and they're trying to figure out what their team is as well. So yes, you've got to capitalize on a team like that who's coming in and, are they a physical bunch? Or are they a skilled bunch? Or are they a fast bunch? They don't really know exactly what they're at right now. But if you're the Oilers, you got to take what you just did against Utah, and you got to bring that same game, the second period and the third period game, to the Rangers, because you will win that game. Because I just don't think the Rangers are the same level of his team as the Utah Mammoth.
Real Dudley says Belsey speaks the truth. And then No Clue adds, the real question is how long before Philp gets mad for not playing. They went 11-7 today. Philp came out of the lineup. Belsey, listen, man, you could speak to this better and talk people through it. I understand where No Clue is coming from, where he's coming from, but like Noah Philp, he can get mad all he wants. He's in the NHL. Nothing's going to change, is it?
I think the saying is a day in the NHL is better than a day in the minors. So
No,
He's in the NHL.
no bleep.
No bleep. He's in the NHL. He's getting opportunities to play. You know, the Oilers are trying to figure out what their lineup looks like. He's a young guy that he's done some good things. He scored a couple of goals. I think he's not. I don't think he's upset. I think he understands the situation. The Oilers have gone 11-7 multiple times throughout the last few years because it's an opportunity to get Connor and Leon out on the ice a little bit more, especially when they're feeling it. Mm-hmm. It's a good thing. So, you know, matchup nightmares is, I believe, is the correct terminology for what that is. It's matchup nightmares. Like, good luck putting your third pairing defense against Connor or Leon, especially when they're feeling it. So, you know, Philip, has he played good? Yes, he has.
Yeah.
Has he deserved a little bit more? Yeah, probably. But a day in the NHL is better than a day in the minors. So I think Philip's just going to continue to go to work. And when he has his name called, he's going to do what he does and go out and give it his best effort.
Yeah, which hockey philosopher came up with that piece of gold?
I don't know. You can either have a chartered flight or you can wake up at 4:00 in the morning and sit in the middle seat on a United Airlines flight. You pick.
I'll take the charter. Thank you very much.
NHL paychecks mostly pretty nice.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, those would be juicy.
Yeah.
All right, let's go. Let's go inside the locker room really quickly. Let's hear from a guy who's been playing well this season, Ryan Nugent-Hopkins. Then we'll get Belzy's take on that game against the Rangers. And then Reed's going to hop on for Reed's Read as well. The Oilers 6-3 winners over the Mammoth, ending their 7-game winning streak. Here is Ryan Nugent-Hopkins.
What did you kind of see in that second period where you rattled off strength goals as you worked there?
I mean, it starts right away with Leo making a hell of an effort and Eki finishing it off. But that kind of got us going there, and obviously we kind of needed a bit of a wake-up in between the first and second. We had that a bit, and I thought we responded well and kept it going from there. But obviously that first period, we've much more than that, so good to see us respond.
So you guys always call. Go ahead. First intermission.
I mean, obviously, just Knobber coming in and talking about what we did in the first, and just talking amongst ourselves and give ourselves a little kick in the butt, and went from there.
Knobloch would normally come in and speak to you between the first and second period, generally speaking.
He talks in between. Just gives us a little something. Yeah, intermissions. Yeah.
He's speaking or just kidding?
Well, you know, Knobber. His demeanor is pretty calm most of the time. But obviously, I mean, in certain situations, we need like I said, a kick in the butt. But no, I mean, we responded well, and he wasn't screaming at us by any means. But obviously. We needed to be better, and we showed up in the second and the third, so it was much better.
Was it kind of been this team's MO for a while, though? Like, a slow start to a season or fall behind in a series, and it looks like you're in trouble, and then you guys just rise up, and does that sort of trigger something inside?
Yeah, I mean, obviously you don't want to put yourselves in these situations too often. I mean, this league is so good, every team can make you pay for that, but the way that we can respond is obviously a great sign, and it's something that we've excelled at throughout the past few years, but it's much more comfortable to just start well and kind of roll from there, but to be able to show up after a poor first period like that is a lot of good signs for our team.
Did you get your play?
Okay, there's Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, his stat line. Not bad tonight. Reads like this. He had the 1 assist on the Connor McDavid goal. Where did it go? It just changed on the NHL website. They just wiped it all out. 1 assist tonight for Nugent-Hopkins. He had himself a nice game. I'm looking for – why does it do that?
Yeah, it just happened for me too.
I have the game sheet here. I found it. Nugent-Hopkins with the apple, 20:08 time on ice. And he added a shot, 2 attempts blocked, 1 hit, 1 takeaway, 1 block shot, 1 faceoff, 1, and there you go. So his strong start to the season continues. Okay, Belzy, I'm reading Wilkie. Stop texting stuff to our private chat like that. Okay, take a look ahead to Thursday night against the Rangers.
Yeah, like I mentioned, you have a team that with the Rangers that wants to play physical. They've changed their identity a little bit, since they met up with the Florida Panthers. So you're going to get a hardworking game. You're going to get a game that they're going to try to play in your face. And for the Oilers, they've just got to be ready for it. What they did in the second and third period today was something that I think we all expect. And if they can duplicate that and replicate that, well, I think they're going to be in the driver's seat, and I think they're going to win the game. So, great win, Oilers, but now make it 2 in a row.
Yeah, that's fair. Bellsy, great work as always, my friend. Thank you for coming at us from the Satellite Studios, aka my kitchen. Sounded great, looked great. You know where the beverages are. I'll talk to you. I'm gonna dabble. There you go. Yeah, there you go. There's Shawn Belle, former Oiler and our game analyst, helping us break down the Oilers 6-3 victory over the Utah Mammoth, ending the Mammoth's 7-game winning streak. All right, keep those texts coming in. Any questions or comments? 780-218-9999. And Nasty Chat, continue to do your thing. Let's bring in Reed Wilkins for Reed's Read, brought to you by Ewell, your power play specialist. Ewell has the gear you need for your next electrical project with 3 Edmonton area locations, and you can order online anytime at ewell.ca. Ewell, your Edmonton-based partner in power and source for all things electrical. Hello, Reedrick. How are you? Are you muted, Reed? Is he yelling at us?
How's that?
Oh, now let's see the little light went on.
Raw mic.
There you go. You turned it on. Now it has power, and we can
hear. Is it working, Ben?
You're using a laptop mic, I think.
No, I'm not. It says I'm not.
Okay, then okay, maybe you're good. Hold on.
All right, we'll get this sorted out. All right, I'm going to read a couple of texts in the meantime. We'll get that fixed up. Dudley texting says, for when Reed appears, the Oilers rolled in full of might. Their offense was blazing all night. 6 goals on the board. The Mammoth outscored, and Rogers Place roared with delight. So a little limerick there from Dudley for Reed. Reed, can we test it out? How are we? Are we okay?
Well, I didn't change anything, so however it sounds...
Good. That's good.
That's actually good? Okay, good.
Yeah, that's good.
All right. There you go. Dudley with the limerick. Did you like it? Was it proper?
I thought it was excellent. I thought it was excellent. I appreciate hearing a limerick at 11 p.m. That's very good. Mm-hmm. Really gets my juices flowing.
Okay.
I'm all juiced up.
You're juiced up. You're juicing up our private chat as well.
I'm more, yes,
which I appreciate.
I'm more juiced than Jose Canseco in his prime.
That's quite juiced. I read the book too. Quite good.
I never read the book.
It's a good book. You'd like it. I actually read the second one as well.
Oh, he has another one? What's it called? Juiced 2? Even more juiced?
I think it's just juicier.
Oh, is it called Juicier?
I don't know. I can't remember.
That's great.
Anyway, thoughts on the Oilers 6-3 win?
Post in the Nasty Chat, everybody. What's the third book in Jose Canseco's Juiced trilogy going to be called? That's amazing.
Well, Juiced was followed up by Vindicated.
Oh, right.
And that's when everybody else got busted, and he wasn't the only one. I read Vindicated. I own Juiced. Both of them full of wild stuff that I 3/4 believe. Anyway.
All right. Well,
okay.
You know where they were injecting themselves. But anyway, yes, nice to see you guys.
Thank you. Nice to see you.
I see you too, Reed.
Yeah.
They finally played portions of a good hockey game. That was nice. The first period was atrocious, as we've almost come to expect. I think they referenced, I think Nugent Hopkins, Ekholm, and Knobloch all referenced that after the first period, Knobloch told them they had committed 16 turnovers in the neutral zone. And usually a good period is 2 or 3.
Yeah.
Just a terrible first period, I thought. 5 shots on goal. Nurse gave it away for the Cooley goal. Nurse shot it off the linesman that led to the second goal. So I think it was Nurse that shot that one off the linesman.
He did, yes.
So,
confirmed.
and now Nurse factored in, he was the last Oiler to touch the puck on both those plays, but other guys turned the puck over.
Yeah.
I think that also counts at the offensive blue line, because there were a couple times they gained the blue line, and then there was a drop pass to nobody, and it's what are you doing? Get the puck in. Try to go forward. And they talked about, and I know you were playing Nuge. I don't know if you got to Ekholm yet. He was excellent as always.
We can grab that.
Talking about how they played and his own game. I mean, he flat out said, I haven't been happy with my own game for the last 5 or 6. And he said sometimes you go through a spell where you think it's going to be easy, and then you kind of got to get back in the mindset like, oh, right, this is the NHL. And I know people will say, well, they know they're in the NHL, but there are ebbs and flows, and even a veteran like Ekholm could admit maybe the mental intensity isn't there every night. So I'm glad they sort of recognize some of the issues they've been having. Like, I've been using the word gumption. They haven't been playing with any gumption. And then in the second period, they came out determined not to turn the puck over, to make smart plays with the puck. And I thought they started just getting to work, especially in the offensive zone. If you look at how they forechecked, like they did what we've all been saying they're not doing, like grind a little bit, forecheck a little bit. Now, you can say that maybe there are elements of this roster that aren't capable of doing that consistently. And I think that's fair. And I think that's something we have to watch for going forward. But they got the puck in deep. They worked along the boards. They didn't play around with it. Like, they made quick plays with it, and they got it to the net. 2 rebound goals, right? The long rebound to Draisaitl, the long rebound to Emerson that they both quickly shot in. Howard's goal, I mean, it's rimmed around the boards. Henrique is able to get it away from 2 Utah players behind the net, tip it in front to Howard, and he fires it in. Like, these are simple, basic plays that you're taught when you're 6, like, hey, little Joey, like, you go stand behind the net and pass in front to little Timmy and he'll shoot it in. Like, it was kind of that type of hockey. And then you couple, and then the skill can make plays once you put in the work.
Right.
The Nugent Hopkins one-touch pass to McDavid for the goal. That's great skill, but they were doing these very fundamental things successfully to lead to all that. So I was glad to see that. I was glad to see them finally show that they're capable of doing it, and perhaps not just capable of doing it, but willing to do it. Like this, like, I know you call it, Tom, playing with their food, but almost this attitude where it's like, well, we could like forecheck and work hard, but that's, we can score other ways. But they got down to doing some of those difficult but very fundamental things to success. So that was encouraging to see that stuff. They gave a couple opportunities to Utah. Like, I didn't like that Bouchard slashing penalty. That's a selfish penalty. Like, you can't, like, you're up 2 goals. Don't give them any life. Like that, to me, we talked a lot about that Anderson penalty last week.
Right.
It's kind of the same category. Like, I know Anderson was mouthing off to the refs, but you have the lead. Don't give the other team an opportunity to tie or get back into the game. So I didn't like that penalty. But they killed it off. And I heard when I was driving home the talk about Stuart Skinner. I mean, look, he got the win. I thought he made some good saves when it was 3-3, 4-3, and 5-3. Knobloch talked about that goal. Like, Knobloch said, it jumped over his stick.
Yeah.
So what can you do in that situation? It jumped over his stick. They scored. He didn't allow a goal after that. The second goal, big picture, the Peterka goal, yes, it's off a turnover. Yes, it's a good player coming in with a lot of speed. But we saw those last year, right? A 6'4" goaltender that gets beat over the shoulder. Yeah. So, I know what that might raise some alarm bells for some people, but he won the game. Ultimately, he outperformed the other goaltender. And again, basically in the last half of the game, because Hayton scored with 11:41 left in the second period. Mm-hmm. In the last half of the game, he didn't give up a goal. So, yes, a couple went in before that, but he got the win.
All right, text us 780-218-9999. Reed Wilkins joining us for Reed's Read, brought to you by Ewell. Benny Thompson back at EST Global HQ. Tonight, I thought Jack Roslovic looked really well, and Benny brought it up earlier. Is he coming around, Reed? He had no training camp, comes to a new team, is trying to figure it out, had some jump in that first game that he played with the Oilers against the Rangers at MSG, but tonight he was dipsying, he was doodling, got a couple of opportunities, almost scored, hit the bar a couple of times. Is he starting to turn it around, in your opinion?
Well, I hope so, because his first 2 games weren't impressive at all. I mean, you said it. No training camp, no preseason, no early. You didn't play the first couple games of the season. So I hope so. I mean, he played 18-20 tonight. That's a good chunk for a forward who doesn't kill penalties. And we didn't get any power play time, though. The Oilers only had did they have one or two power plays?
They had one for sure.
But he's looked a little better the last 2 or 3 games. A little more confident with the puck. A little more trying to make plays. He made that one rush to the net in the first period. I think in the third, he took the one that dribbled through Vejmelka, and then he either covered it or knocked it to the corner.
Mm-hmm.
I still wonder about him just because, again, he was unsigned until the second day of the regular season. The Oilers signed him during their first game. So clearly this is a player that wasn't that appealing to most of the teams in the league, at least not for the money that he was initially asking. If he can be a threat and be responsible defensively, then he could be a pretty good second line player for the Oilers. I mean, I don't view him as an overly mucky grinding type player, which, I think we all like when players still have that element to their game, even if they're in the top 6. But yes, the last 3 games have been better. And even though he didn't score tonight, I know he scored against Vancouver. I thought this was his best all-around game. I noticed him several. He had the breakaway in the second period, cutting in. You noticed him several times. So, I thought it was a good step for him for sure.
All right, I'm going to go to this one from Carmen. It's via the nasty chat. Says Tommy, but I'm going to pass it off to you guys. Do you think the Oilers go 11-7 again next game, or do we see Philp back in? And listen, they got Troy Stecher in there. Stecher ended up playing 10:41. I thought, again, I'll reiterate, he gives you everything he can. It's just he's smaller. He gets knocked off the puck. He battles, but he hadn't played for a little bit. So I think they go back to 12-6. What do you think, Reed? And what do you think, Benny? Go ahead, Reed first.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Sometimes Knobloch doesn't like to change things after a win. So that would lead me to believe he might leave things the same. I mean, Stecher, whatever, he's fine. He was -1. I don't know which goal he was on for. I'd have to check I don't think he was on for the first goal against, in which he wasn't the one that gave the puck away.
No, exactly.
Hyman can play Saturday, right?
If he's ready.
Yep. So maybe he goes 11-7 for one more game, just because they won this one with 11-7, and then he brings Hyman back, and that would bump Stecher out if no one else needs to come out. I don't think. I know I always say to people, don't use the word deserve, but I'm going to use it. Noah Philp hasn't deserved to be scratched.
No, that's true.
But he's come out of the lineup 3 times now, and then come back in. I'd have to go back and look at the lineup they beat New York with. I guess it would have been a little different because Wallman wasn't playing yet.
Correct.
Right. I'm not sure. That's a good question. I guess if we go with you don't tinker with a winning lineup, then that logic would say he comes back with 11-7.
Okay, Benny, what do you think?
Yeah, honestly, I'd be kind of surprised that if he were to change this winning roster, this was after that first period was some of their best hockey of the year, probably their best, and. Like we talked about a little bit earlier, we don't want to dump on the guy, but Stecher hasn't looked great to start this year, and I don't think he was bad today or anything. No. But he played 10 minutes as a defenseman, right? When you're running 7D man, you're not going to run a full 7-man rotation. You're trying to find him in spots where he can fill in. But I think it's definitely possible that they go 11-7 on Thursday and then wait for Hyman to come back. Hopefully he's there Saturday. About the Philp situation, with Noah Philp, he's had a pretty solid start this year, but this team's also not fully healthy. And if we're talking Hyman back in the lineup and Janmark being back in the lineup, what's the chances that Philp's playing with a full roster that's healthy, right? It's probably not very high, and not like he's played bad or he hasn't doesn't deserve to be scratched, but it's a numbers game, right? The captain's hurt, Yamark's hurt, Hyman's hurt. I think those are all guys that Knoblauch views higher on the depth chart than Phillips. So it's already tough for him to get in the lineup with injured guys. So I don't expect there to be a huge rush for Knoblauch to throw him back in, because they kind of know that when this team's fully healthy, he's probably not making their lineup anyway. So I don't think they're overly concerned about having guys like Phil sitting
angry
for too long. Yeah.
All right, Reed, take a look ahead to Thursday night against the New York Rangers. 2-0 winners over the Vancouver Canucks tonight, a team that the Oilers fell to in overtime a couple of nights ago. Edmonton, of course, beating the Rangers earlier this season at MSG 2-0.
And the Rangers are a really odd team, right? Because they were shut out 3 consecutive home games.
Yep.
So there's still a couple games under 500, largely because they didn't start the season very well. I mean, they got beat pretty bad in Calgary a couple of days ago and bounced back with a win over Vancouver. I don't know what to expect from the Rangers. Like I always, even last year, I looked at their roster and I thought they should be better than they are.
Yeah.
Didn't they change half the roster over the?
They started selling guys off. Chris Drury was going nuts, getting rid of guys.
I think last year they traded half the team over the course of the season.
Yeah,
something like that.
And they just said even some guys who you thought would be foundational pieces, they're like, no, we're moving on from them.
Yeah.
I don't know what to expect from New York. I think if the Oilers can play like they did in the final 40 minutes tonight, they're going to be a tough challenge for anybody. Here's the interesting thing about the Rangers. I saw them play the Oilers. I saw a big chunk of their game against the Canadiens about a week and a half ago. And I think I saw bits and pieces of it. I didn't get to see them play Calgary much. Might have been a Blue Jays game that night. But the interesting thing about the New York Rangers is that when I've seen them play, Sam Carrick has been their best player.
He scored tonight.
He scored tonight. And I think it was the empty netter, but still you got to score. It's nice for McDavid to get it.
Way to belittle his goal.
Well,
appreciate that.
Empty netter should only count for half a goal.
Oh,
there's no goal. There's no goalie there. He was awesome against the Oilers, and against
that line was good.
Against the Canadiens, he was really good. I believe, if I remember correctly, I believe he fought Jack Guy, who would be out of his weight, like above his weight class.
Yeah,
so he's kind of been a bit of a spark plug for them. But it'll be a fun game. I mean, there's usually some Rangers fans making some noise in the building as they're an original 6 team, and there have been some wild games against the Rangers. Really going back to the Laurie Korpikoski hat trick, Tom, in the old building. And,
I remember that.
I think that was a 7-5 game, and obviously the McDavid spectacular goal a few years ago, and I think that one was 6-5 in overtime. So could be a fun night.
Yeah, they end up being. There have been those fun nights, like you mentioned, when the Rangers come to town. Remember Tortorella going, "We sucked from head to toe. I don't have anything else to say."
Oh, that's right. That was here. That was the old building. Yeah,
that was. Awanek is in that video. He's right beside him.
Oh, right. And I believe, was it the Rangers? Was that Aiken's last game?
When they got shut out.
And Lundqvist got interviewed about the shutout, and he was like, "I didn't really do anything.
Yeah,
like I just stood there." Like,
that is correct.
This was the worst offensive attack. He didn't say that, but kind of was implied.
It pretty much insinuated without saying anything. Yes, exactly. There have been some epic games or circumstances around Rangers games when they're in Edmonton. So good point, Riedrich. Yeah. Hey, great work tonight, pal.
Well, I really enjoyed doing it, Tom. You're all wonderful colleagues, and hopefully I will see you tomorrow.
I look forward to seeing you tomorrow in the flesh, as they say.
Yes, absolutely.
All right, that's Reed's Read, brought to you by eWell. Good to have Reed on after home games. Always appreciate his insights and his banter in the private chat where he gets everybody all hot and bothered.
Oh, yeah.
For a lack of a better term. All right, Benny, let's get to the player of the game, brought to you by Damon Bunting. Real Estate, Damon Bunting, top producing, consistent realtor in the greater Edmonton area for over 18 years. He's community-driven and understands what it takes to make a difference in our fine city. So check him out, DamonBunting.com, or visit his Instagram at Damon Bunting Real Estate. Ben Thompson, take it away, my friend.
Okay, so I hate going first star, going for player of the game. I hate it, but it's hard not to for me. To me, one of the biggest reasons why the Oilers were able to do what they did tonight was because they went back to what worked in past years. And that was the Ekholm and Bouchard pairing. It wasn't working this year. They went back to it today, and it worked. And a guy that stepped up his game heavily today was Matthias Ekholm. With the goal and assist today, +3, looked good. Didn't get walked, although he didn't have to play Kiefer Sherwood tonight. But he was much better today. And for a guy that since had a lackluster start, very promising today, and looked like the Matthias Ekholm we all know and love. So he's the Damon Bunting player of the game today.
All right, Damon Bunting, player of the game. Matthias Ekholm, the clapper, top cheese. Let's go to Al with the last text. Al texting and saying, it's time for the media to let go of the Savoy love because he's from Edmonton. His analytics look awful. Howard is outproducing despite getting way less ice time and way lower quality of teammates. Howard is also better defensively. Also, Mangiapane has 8 shots through 8 games, being stapled to 97. Frederick, Henrique, Savoy line had 0 shots on net tonight. The team's expected goals percentage went way up after they bench slash Nurse's ice time. That's from Al. You're a Savoy enabler. What do you have to say?
I disagree, Al. Yes, Ike Howard has outproduced Matt Savoy. First of all, Savoy got unlucky to not have an assist today. That bounced off Adam Henrique, where it was kind of chintzy. It should have been.
Hey, it counts.
Yeah, it counts. It counts, but it robs Savoy of an assist, who made a great play to get an Ekholm. And that all started by a Frederick forecheck, which a lot of people are not happy with Frederick. He was the one that started that goal. I just want to give him slight props.
Nice.
But Savoy's the better player defensively to me. And I'm very surprised to be giving Savoy his props defensively, because growing up, playing against him and like just seeing him in junior and stuff, he was never really a guy that you're like, oh, like he was really good in his own end. Like he was always just this offensive product.
Right.
And he's smaller, right? So you're not expecting a defensive side from him, but I really believe the 20 minutes a night power play PK in Bakersfield really helped him round out his game. They played him at center, played him at wing, and I think they did a really good job of kind of grooming him into this two-way player. And so I disagree. I think there's a reason why Knobloch's playing him 16 minutes tonight is because he doesn't cost you in your own end. He's a young guy and he's small, but he has a lot of fight and doesn't make a whole lot of bad plays in his own zone. He's pretty reliable and he's on the PK. So Ike Howard's the goal scorer and he's shown that in the NHL a little bit so far. But I think the points and goals for Savoy are coming. Just gotta be a little bit patient. I understand it's hard to ask, but
I think you would hear the coaching staff and fellow teammates say Matt Savoy does the little things right.
100%.
And they don't show up on the stat sheet. Maybe it doesn't look good analytically, but I think that's what they would probably say. That's my guess to Al's question. So as long as he continues to do the little things right, they feel like he'll probably get rewarded. And let's see if that actually comes to fruition and, the advanced metrics follow suit. But I think they like him, and he's gotten a lot of praise from Chris Knobloch, even in the early part of this season. All right. I'm just going to take a quick look at the inbox over. Oh, Tony from BP says, hey, Tommy, BP Tony, seems like another game that even though Connor got 2 goals, still doesn't look like he's engaged. I like that goal he scored. Yeah, it looks like he's cranking it up. But Tony from BP, big thank you for a wonderful night on Sunday when we were live on location at 170th Street, 90th Ave, BP Westgate. Big blowout for Curtis's birthday. A lot of fun. So tip of the cap to Tony, who puts on a great party and lived up to it once again on Sunday. Yeah. And then somebody said, sounds like leadership group had some strong words between periods, followed up by coach. Yes, they talked about that. You heard Ryan Nugent-Hopkins talk about it. Bad first period for the Oil. I think everybody would concur on that one. We'll actually give the last word to Don from Edmonton. Hello, Don. Thanks for the text. Don says, good evening. Maybe the new uniforms made the difference. In any event, I'm encouraged by their energy tonight. Well done, Don from Edmonton. Don, thank you for the text. We appreciate it, and great to hear from you. She's texting in late at night, and it's nice to get a little bit of a surge with texts at the end of the show. So the Oilers, 6-3 winners over the Mammoth. They end Utah's 7-game winning streak. Enough of that, they said. A big victory, and the Oil will look to keep it rolling when they take on the New York Rangers Thursday. That game at 7 p.m. We are live on the air, 6 p.m. with the GCL Diesel Oil Stream pregame show. That's going to do it for the GCL Diesel Oil Stream postgame show. For Benny, for Belzy, and Riedrich, I'm Tom saying have a great night. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. The boys are back at it in just over 6 hours with the Nielsen Show featuring Lieutenant Eric and YouTube Trev. That's going to do it. Have yourselves a great night. Ciao for now.